everyone. We are so grateful that you're joining our channel today. We are here with two special guests. We have Heather Howard and Amanda Allen with Integrous. We also have two of our team members here, along with Dr. Natalie Boulware and Dr. Martin Redrick as well. Hello, everyone.
How's it going?
Welcome. Well, I'm going to jump right in here. Heather,
Yes.
I would love to ask you a little bit about Integrous, and tell me why you decided to start this company. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, it's kind of a crazy story. So, I've been in the industry of networking for, my gosh, it's been over a decade. And before that, I was a revenue analyst by trade. So I was a number cruncher. And I was kind of in a situation where I wanted to switch gears and do something that, was able to make an impact in the world. And network marketing fell in my lap when I wasn't looking for it. And I fell in love with just helping people and making an impact and seeing people change and evolve. And I literally just fell in love with the industry. So been in the industry for a very long time. Every time I left a company, it was for integrity reasons. So the word Integrous has a lot of meaning behind it. I actually copywrote and trademarked the name Integrous Wellness back in 2021. And
wow.
It was kind of a thing where it was like, okay, maybe I'll do something with that because it meant a lot to me as far as the word. And so I didn't do anything with it. I was still with another company. And again, it was kind of a situation where it was profits over people. And I was really fed up. I was kind of at a situation where I was like, maybe I just need to leave the industry together. I didn't see change happening. And I think at the point where we've done it for so long and you're so good at it, but you're just not jiving with companies or people, and you're just like, is every single person on the planet unethical? And
oh my goodness.
And so that's kind of where I was. And I said, either I'm going to make this change myself because I don't see anybody else doing it, or I need to step out of the industry all completely. And so I'm like, well, shoot, if anybody's going to do it, why not me? I know it's crazy. Everybody was like, are you sure you know what you're doing? Like, you're starting a company and there's a lot to it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm always up for big challenges and I never quit. I always find a way. And so I said, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go crazy and figure out a way to make some change in the industry. And so that's how kind of Integrous was birthed. And even going to the lotus flower with our logo, that has meaning behind it, because obviously you guys know there's meaning behind, the lotus flower and how it comes from mud. And so there's a lot of people that have gravitated towards our company that are like, oh my gosh, this is a fresh company that's actually being transparent for the first time. So yeah, that's kind of how it all began.
I love that so much. I honestly was going to ask, how you came up with the name, but you jumped right, and I was like, that's perfect. I love that. I mean, integrity is so important in business. I love that it's implemented, with your name. I love that.
Yeah. There's a lot of meaning behind it. So we're really excited for that.
That's fantastic. Well, Amanda, I've had a chance to have a conversation with you, and I feel I could ask the very same question, why, are you with Integrous? What is it that drew, you to them? But I know that you have a story, and I was wondering if you would be willing to share your health story, your journey that you've been on.
Wow, I was not expecting that one. I was expecting Integrous. My story is really long. It's really, really long, and it's very complicated. I actually used to want to be a nurse practitioner, so it's really cool we're on with a doctor today, and I'm excited to get to meet you and to know you more. But I was kind of told I would never live this long. A lot of doctors didn't really know what was going on with me. I had everything from brain tumor to issues with my thyroid, my heart, my kidneys, my reproductive system. My heart actually started getting thick and hard from having high blood pressure for so long. And I ended up at Mayo Clinic because the doctors here locally in California could not understand what was going on. So I ended up at Mayo Clinic. I was their guinea pig. I ended up in a couple of journals over there. And they never actually figured out what was wrong. They gave me we think you have a lot of inflammation in your kidneys. And at that time, it was to the extent that I was kind of praying that it was just one kidney so that they would take it out so that the issue would go away, because the alternative was medication that they basically told me you can never have a family. You can never have children. We almost need you to sign something saying that you will not ever have a family with this because they will be born without a reproductive system. And I was put on medication that there wasn't even a generic option. It was brand new and kind of experimental. And that's how I got into the holistic world, because they kind of told me, this is what your life is going to be. This is what's going to happen. And I only had one doctor, ask me, what do you eat? No one asked me, are you on a probiotic? No one asked me, or they didn't find out that I was actually on antibiotics for a whole year before, which can cause a lot of imbalance in your gut and that inflammation, and it can cause a lot of, imbalances throughout your whole body. And so I didn't accept that. And I just kind of went off on my own little journey. And I learned a lot about the gut. I learned a lot about inflammation. I learned a lot about root causes of what can cause those, we're not supposed to say diseases, but issues. We're not, claiming to treat, cure, or prevent anything here, but, a lot of inflammation and gut dysbiosis, which is an imbalance, can create high blood pressure, and a lot of the things that they were saying for me. And it was pretty incredible that they said, you're never going to see your 30th birthday. And I was about 24 years old. And it was wild because within about a year, I went through crazy detox, herxing, which is I detoxed a little too quickly. But I actually just had my 35th birthday now. And that was
that's awesome.
Thank you. That was one of the reasons why I was really so excited for Integrous Wellness, was because I had tried so many things and I learned a lot about the holistic side. And in getting into that, I learned a lot about synthetic vitamins. I learned a lot about the lack of testing. I learned a lot about the lack of transparency. And I just have a couple of crazy horror stories that we don't need to talk about here. But those all led to reasons why Heather and I just kind of became super close, and I decided to be with them. So
that story honestly just gets to me, deeply. And even the celebration that you made it. Here you are. Look how vibrant you are. That's absolutely amazing for sure. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, if I can jump into, because you brought up gut health, Heather or Amanda or whoever would like to speak to this. I've noticed that, you have digestive enzymes. And I wondered if you guys could address exactly what are those, and how can they help people?
Heather, it's all you.
Okay.
I can do it, but yours will be better.
No, we can both talk about it if you want to. Digestive enzymes are really important for the body. People don't know this, but over 80% of your immune system lies in your gut. And so a lot of people don't know that we're born with a bank of enzymes that break down every single different type of, food group. And when that digestive enzyme bank account is gone and you don't know when that happens, it wreaks havoc in the system because you can't break down a specific item, meaning you can't break down carbs or sugars. And so things start to go out of whack. So the gut is considered your second brain. So if you're not taking care of your gut first and foremost, all of a sudden you see people that, are 8, 9, and 10 years old and, they're not breaking down their blood sugars. Well, it's because their bank account is gone, right? So a lot of people don't understand that the gut health is so critical, so important. And our enzymes are actually a full spectrum enzyme. So it breaks down all the food groups. It's got your probiotic, it's got your prebiotics. So it's giving you all the good stuff in the gut as well. And we're really, really happy about, having something that's teaching people just straight gut health, because it is important and people miss it or don't even know that they need to take care of that area in their body.
What kind of symptoms will people have if they're having, gut health issues? And, what would be like, oh my gosh, this is what I, need to take? What kind of symptoms, what are they going to feel going on in their bodies?
Yeah, I mean, it could be anywhere from blood sugars, it could be lactose intolerant, it could be inflammation in the body because they're not breaking down, anything properly. It could be even allergy symptoms. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And I don't know if you want to touch on anything else, Amanda, about, what you've seen or what you've experienced.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, your gut is literally made, when they talk about the gut-brain connection, when you're in your mom's stomach, they're made at the same time, same place. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
There's a reason why if you look at your gut, it actually looks like your brain. But if you look up, because I would always encourage people when they don't know, what are you feeling? Do you have, headaches? Do you have nausea? Do you have leg cramps? What do you have going on? Go to Google, which I know a lot of people don't recommend, but pick something, pick like eczema or something, skin issues. Go to Google and type in eczema and gut health and go and see what comes up. Go and try to find studies. That blew me away, because when I really started to address my gut, I had no idea the imbalance, and I had too much bad bacteria, which overtook the good bacteria. And then you have those cravings, and then you start eating what you're craving, and then it just all goes downhill from there. But something that's really cool about the enzymes is it's just made everything really simple. So for me, I'm personally tired of taking pills. I'm tired of having like an enzyme, a prebiotic, and a probiotic. So to have something in one pill, it's way easier. And there's no side effects. Like, you don't have to worry about taking it and you're not going to feel well, you're going to have tummy grumbles, or you have to like stick close to the bathroom and you kind of have to time it. You don't have to worry about that. It really helps to break down your food, so you stay regular, which is really, really important. A lot of people do not, I'm sorry, this is TMI, they don't go to the bathroom enough. And the average person, I believe that, what was it, Heather, has 5 to 10 pounds of fecal matter actually in their gut. And the hot topic right now is parasites, and that is the number one thing that parasites eat. They hide behind heavy metals and they eat fecal matter. So to be able to break all of that down, to kind of offload that stress from your body so that your body can actually go and do what it wants to do, which is heal and bring that inflammation down and take care of all of that, then your body is able to actually absorb everything in its proper way so that you're not causing that inflammation and you don't have that crash after you eat your burger. So you have your burger and you don't think, oh, I need to go and take an hour-long nap, a siesta, because I'm so tired from breaking down all my food. You just, take it with your enzyme and you go about your day, and it's just so easy.
That's like mind-blowing, you know what I mean? I'm sitting here and I didn't know about the parasites and all that. And I'm just like, okay, we don't, that's kind of crazy. Well, thank you for breaking that down. I appreciate that a lot. I think the other thing that I saw on y'all's website that I'm really curious about and would like to know a little bit more information is, I know coffee is like a big thing right now. Like, everyone's talking about coffee. There's like so many different coffees out there. Can you guys speak to, I see that you guys have mushroom coffee. I'm curious. Hopefully it doesn't taste like mushrooms, and no, I mean, I you know what I mean, right? It doesn't taste like mud. But can you guys like kind of speak to it a little bit and what the benefits are versus like me going to Starbucks and getting a Starbucks coffee?
Absolutely. I guess I'll start, and then you want to go as well, Amanda, because I feel like we both kind of talk about different things, and so I think it's great. Our coffee and tea are like one of our number one sellers. So majority of people drink either coffee or tea on a daily basis. I mean, it's kind of wild and crazy when you look at the stats of how many people are on coffee, but unfortunately they're blasting their adrenal glands because they're taking in so much caffeine into the body, and it's having some long-term damaging effects. So unfortunately, that's just, you know, especially here in the United States, it's kind of like some people have multiple cups throughout the day, or an entire pot throughout the day, or multiple times at Starbucks. And they don't really understand that, why am I having this midday crash? Well, it's because you're overstimulating your body. So less caffeine is so much better for you. And people don't really, I think, grasp the whole, wait a minute, that the coffee that we have has less caffeine than decaf. And they're like, I don't want that. But they need to understand they're getting the caffeine from the ginseng, and it's actually going to give them sustained energy instead of that up and down crash and burn. But it's also delivering so much more because it is those therapeutic mushrooms. So it's, you know, your Tonga Ali, it's got your ginseng, and it has your Ganoderma, but it's derived from extracts. So not only are you getting these amazing qualities into the body, but it also has over 200 phytonutrients and over 100 antioxidants per serving. So this packs a massive punch. So people are having great energy. It tastes amazing. I always tell people, I'm like, I know you think it's gonna taste horrible, but it tastes fantastic, and it doesn't have a weird film. It's literally the easiest thing, and it tastes fantastic, and people notice a difference immediately. And then all of a sudden they start getting off of all that caffeine that's been blasting their adrenals for how long. And they're like, I've never felt so good in my entire life. Like I'm losing weight, my jeans fit good, I'm actually getting stuff done. And it's like this natural energy people haven't had in, you know, eons. So it's a wild, awesome, like I can't even tell you, it's one of our top sellers is our coffee and our tea. So.
Oh my goodness, Heather and Amanda, you all are talking my world now, right? Product experience, gut health, adrenal balance, like this is exactly what gets me fired up in helping people just to realize how good they can feel. And I hear you both, I mean, you both are talking about impact, you're talking about your health and wellness journey. And of course, as a naturopathic doctor, I'm always interested in products. So what can you tell me about your standard for product sourcing? And if a health professional, or even let's say someone who's been on an incredible health journey and they really want to trust what's on their ingredient label, what can you tell us about your products and your selection process about what goes into them?
Yeah, so we're kind of finicky. So think about us as being like a lot of people say even like the manufacturers that we use. I was kind of even telling Amanda some stuff that, you know, companies don't even have to look and get any kind of third-party testing. And we not only do we test, we third-party test as well. And that costs extra money, okay? So we test the ingredient from the sourcing once it arrives. And then it's, you know, it's like a whole entire process that we go through. And not a lot of companies are doing third-party testing or multiple testing throughout the manufacturing process. Anytime we source ingredients, we're always looking for the top quality, like the creme de la creme of the sourcing, because you could go get vitamin C from ascorbic acid, or you could go and have it derived from a natural source, and all of a sudden it works better, even though it's vitamin C. They're not the same. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like having the difference between a rock and a piece of fruit. It's just, it doesn't jam, right? So sourcing is really important for us, but sourcing the top and the best of the best when it comes to, we want each ingredient to have backing and studies and clinical studies. So like just specifically our ashwagandha KSM 66 is like the creme de la creme of ashwagandha. It's not just your standard ashwagandha, like even the type of berberine that we use. It's a higher absorption of berberine by 625% backed by clinical studies. So, I mean, we're paying an arm and a leg for the sourcing and the type of ingredients. And then we go and do the testing, and we will never put anything out that has to have that nasty looking Prop 65 sticker on it. You will never see a product ever. Like
tell us more about that Prop 65 stickers for some of our viewers who may not know what's going on in good old California.
I'll let you handle that one, Amanda, since Yeah, Prop 65 is, especially for us here in California, but I mean, it's heavy metals. It's you want to be very careful about what you're putting into the body. So not a lot of companies even get Prop 65 testing done. And that is kind of wild, insane. And I'll let Amanda even talk about, what you've been doing, because you've been asking other companies for their testing.
Yeah, so I actually resigned from the same company Heather was with a while ago because I found out that they lied about their safety testing, and they actually skipped that. And I found out that they, as well as it's very common, there's actually a nonprofit that goes around and you can send in products, any products, they'll test it. And if it doesn't adhere to, I forget what it is, I think it's like 0.5 for lead. But it's just within California, and then they also have mercury and some other things, but usually it just speaks to lead. You'll get that sticker on it, and so that's just the warning to consumers that, hey, this product contains more than the safe amount of lead, even though there's no real safe amount of lead. It just lets people know what's going on. But I've actually been calling around so many companies, network marketing, affiliate marketing, companies that they don't have any programs going on with those referral programs at all. And 9 times out of 10, they will not give me their safety testing at all. Usually they come back and say, I know, and it's super shady. And usually they come back and say something like, oh, we can't provide that because that has our proprietary blend on it. Someone could copy the product. Meanwhile, Integrous, Heather made the decision to pay all that money for the safety testing, and it's actually on our website. So a lot of people don't realize that there are a lot of companies, and even though they do choose to share those safety studies, you actually have to sign an NDA for it. So that was a really, really big thing for us, and a lot of people that are being attracted to this company is we're over shady. I don't know why it's so darn complicated. I don't know why it's so hard and why it's so much. And honestly, at the end of the day, Occam's razor, I think the simplest answer tends to be correct. They're just doing shady stuff. And so to have a company where I don't worry about it, like Heather's always been super transparent and honest. Something ever happens, she will tell us. She will not put a batch out before, she finds out that there's something in there that's not good. But that's what that sticker is for. And it's hard because in California, I live here, but I'll be the first to tell you we can kind of get carried away with some things. And so there are some things that I do think that they go a little too far for. But when it comes to heavy metals, and especially things that, you're going to be giving to your family, that was a big thing for me. As soon as I got these products, I gave them to my mom and my dad and my sister. And to know that I don't have to worry about that because I wasn't just blindly promised something, I can actually see it. It's night and day.
Oh my goodness, that is just exciting to hear that there's so much passion, and on top of that, just a genuine care for the products that your consumers are going to take. And I think that it's something people are looking for in the marketplace now. We appreciate transparency. We want the products to work. So with that in mind, can you tell me what inspires new products for you all?
Heather.
We don't really rush putting a product together. And I know that can be frustrating for people who are in the field and they're waiting for the product to be done. We don't rush, and we literally make sure that when we're formulating a product or putting something together, that it has meaning behind it. Like, we have clinical studies on the exact amount of that ingredient that we can back it. And then making sure, like, hey, if we pull these 3 ingredients together, like, we have masterminds that help us put our products together. And we just recently had a product that we were redoing because we wanted to remove a melatonin, because a lot of people have issues with melatonin. It was a small amount. It helped people with sleep, but for long term, you don't want to take melatonin every single day. So we decided to reformulate. And then it became like, okay, it was really exciting to, see what something was before, and then go into reformulation and making it something that is very unique and very different. And we've actually put together a product that nobody has done before. Nobody has combined these 3 ingredients, and it might sound wild and crazy, but it was almost a year in the making, and it was pretty wild because the doctor we were putting together with, Dr. Barry Tan, very world renowned. He's a really good friend of mine, and Mrs. Ricky James, who's a holistic health practitioner. I mean, just absolute, just masterminds. Okay. And being on the phone with them, and they're just giddy on the phone. They're like, oh my gosh, you guys have no idea what this product is going to do. And when you combine this with this and put it at this level, it's going to track by this clinical study. And it was just so exciting. And then it was like, okay, we have to source the ingredient. Now let's go ahead and find the best of the best of that sourcing of the ingredient. And, you know, ashwagandha, that was easy. We already know the best of the best. And then it was the tocotrienols, right, which is the highest form of vitamin E with no synthetic filler. We already know the best of the best with that, with Dr. Barry Tan. And then it was berberine, right? Berberine has been used for eons. But the problem with berberine is you have to take, you know, horse pills because of the low absorption, you know, into the system. And so we happened to find, or Ricky James actually found, the highest absorption berberine on the planet. And it actually increases the absorption by 625% based on clinicals. And we're like, oh my gosh, nobody has put these ingredients together, but nobody's sourced like the creme de la creme of the sourcing and combined it and then backed it by 35 pages of clinical studies. And we're like, oh, this is gonna be magic. And so we finally came up with the formula, and then it was like anything and everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. Machines breaking, people out of, you know, it was wild and crazy. So it took an extra month and a half. But again, we didn't speed up the process. We wanted to make sure everything was, you know, QA, QC was on point, making sure that, you know, the testing is complete. And then another test was done. So it took longer, but we didn't want to, you know, it's almost like we were birthing a baby. I mean, I hate to say it, but it was like 9 months of, you know, seeing it come to fruition, to the point where we already had sales for the product. And so I got on a plane, my guy from the warehouse came with me to the manufacturer, picked up the product so that we could make sure that it got into people's hands immediately. Because when I say something, it's my word. It's my, you know, it's me, it's my word. I can't sleep at night knowing that something isn't on time, and I'm gonna fix it. So that product was like, it was a lot to put it together, but now seeing the results that people are having with it, that we already knew was gonna happen. But I mean, even Amanda has an insane story with it out the gates. And it's, I mean, the testimonials coming through, when you spend the time to get quality, and that's what people skip, right? They skip making sure that it's high quality. All they're worried about is making profits. They want to do a 10, 15, 20x on their product, every single product, so they don't care where the sourcing comes from, where we're actually doing the complete opposite. And now we need less products, and we have, you know, better testimonials and long-term growth for the company.
That is just so exciting to hear. I mean, just the passion that comes through. But I think really speaking to the fact that, you know, you're going to really take the time to create a good product. You know where your sourcing is going to come from. And most importantly, you know, if someone is maybe, let's say, doing that Dr. Google search and they're figuring out what might work for them, they could see the real clinical product that comes from your line that actually is going to match up with what's going to really give them good results. And so that's one thing I know that as a practitioner is important for me, is like, if you're going to take this thing, we want to be sure that you're getting better, that you're really, really seeing results. And so that is it's just exciting to hear across the board that it's timely, and that most importantly, that you're seeing some results. So you were speaking about a product just now. Tell me more about the name of that one that you were just talking about, that's come together. I know you have something new coming up as well, something brand new that has just come out. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's our Pure Harmony. So the product I was just talking about, that is our new product. And it's, again, the meaning behind the whole Pure Harmony is that supplement is kind of like replacing, in my opinion, about 4 to 6 supplements that you would take a la carte, and it's combined into one. And I mean, Amanda can even talk about her own personal testimonial and the testimonies that are coming through. But it's a powerful product.
Now, if somebody wanted to take Pure Harmony, would this be kind of like replacing their multi, replacing their, I would say, their suite of energy products like Pure? What does it do? What's the target for Pure Harmony?
it's kind of crazy, but it affects so many different areas. And that's why it was hard to even come up with a name, because it was like, it's helping you with your digestion. It's helping you with your anxiety and stress level. It's helping you with your inflammation in the entire body from head to toe. It's cardiovascular health. It helps you with sleeping at night. It helps with your metabolism. It helps with your serotonin levels. It's going to help cortisol levels. Okay. It's going to help you with your, what else am I missing? It's hair, skin, and nails. It's it's a wild product that's helping with weight loss, and it's putting your body into tune with regards to your blood sugar levels. It's helping with hormone levels, which is really, really important. So, but I'll pass it over to Amanda, because her testimonial is absolutely insane and awesome, and it's a powerful one. So
I wish I could have a before and after, because I was a part of the beta testing group, and I cannot even tell you guys, the last 2 years, probably along with everyone else, it's been kind of crazy. It's been kind of stressful, I'm not gonna lie. And I am that annoying crunching person. If you tell me you want to work out, I will be at your house at 5 a.m. knocking on your door. Like, I am the best accountability buddy. And I was doing strength training, walking, even, okay, my cat is chiming in. He's vouching for me. But I eat organic, clean, you should see my refrigerator, the things I was doing, so many other supplements, and I was just fluffy. I've been an athlete my whole life, and to most people, I probably would not look fluffy, but I take pride in my body, and I try to be healthy and take care of it. And, after everything I've been through, right? And my stomach, they call it the cortisol band around your lower stomach, your butt, your hips, your thighs, kind of that area. Ladies, we know. That area kind of went from, let me see, a 4 to an 8 or a 10, depending on the pants that I was wearing. And a part of that was a miscarriage and breakup. And there was just a lot of really big events that happened. And I got on everything with the beta testing group, and oh my gosh, you guys, it's night and day. Like, I can put on my pants easy. I am sleeping better. I wish I could show you the amount. I have a lot of hair. I know you can't really see it, but I have a lot of hair. And it was freaking me out. I think all the stress just caught up with me, because all of a sudden in the shower, I just started to lose a tremendous amount of hair. And it did, and I preface this with everything in me, it did not matter what I did. Nothing stopped. I was chugging humic fulvic acid. I was doing magnesium glycinate. I'm saying that because I know you know what I'm talking about for stress. I was grounding. I was walking instead of doing HIIT workouts. I was juicing. I was doing so many things, healthy fats, everything that I could possibly think of that I've amounted in the last decade. And nothing was working. And I'm trying not to cry right now, because I was only on the berberisol, which I want to say, is that how you say, Heather? The berber, it's basically pre-fermented, it's pre-digested. So you're not going to have the nausea that a lot of people have on berberine, which is, I cannot even tell you the chef's kiss for that, because a lot of people cannot handle the nausea from berberine. And I'm very sensitive to anything that could possibly make me nauseous. I've just been a nauseous girl my whole life, and I can tolerate it. And I was in the shower, and I sent a photo to Heather because I was going through my hair, and I realized clumps weren't falling out. And I kind of froze, and I didn't want to touch it anymore. Like, I didn't want to jinx it. And I was like, there's no way. And I was like, no, you got to keep this. If this is real, it'll hold up. And so I kept, going through my hair, and then I got out, was brushing my hair, and normally I can't even see the bottom of my brush. There's so much hair. I cannot see where the bristles attach. And it's night and day. I'll have to send a photo to Joy so she can see, and she can send it to you guys. But I think it was only on it for 6 days, and it just about arrested that amount of hair loss. So
wow.
Thank you, Heather.
That's awesome. I mean, you talked about health and fitness and working out, and that's my lane there. So what does the ideal client look like for men working out? What does the ideal candidate look like? Especially when it pertains to health and fitness, an avid athlete, someone working out.
Honestly, anyone. My mom hates to work out, and I can't even tell you, she literally told me, she's probably on it for 2 weeks maybe, and she told me, she was like, Amanda, I can see. and her A1C was horrific. I mean, horrific. And I had been going down to her house and being that annoying daughter that like dumps stuff out and, you know, put stuff in the cart in the grocery store, like, you should eat this and you need protein instead of just carbs first thing in the morning, and being that annoying daughter, because I love her and I want her to be here forever. But I walked into her house and she literally told me, she was like, Amanda, I can see. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And she was like, no. And she put both hands on the island and she was like, I can see. And I was like, I messaged Heather immediately. I lost it. I was like, you can't get anyone wrong on this product, I don't think. We can't encourage anyone, you know, pregnant, breastfeeding, children, things like that. But even if you're not working out, you're gonna see results. It's an incredible product.
Awesome.
And it's one pill. That's my favorite thing. I take one pill with my dinner, one tiny little pill. That's it. That's not horse size. And you do what you got to do, right? When you're sick, I don't mind downing like a handful if it'll save my life, but I'm kind of over it at this point. So to be able to take one pill with my dinner is incredible. It's night and day.
Wow. I mean, that's awesome. I
That's
mean, in the
crazy.
fitness world, you know, we're popping pills left and right, you know, drinking this, drinking that, you know. And so, you know, when it comes to coaching and mentorship, you know, do you guys offer mentor programs for individuals who want to get into the industry of supplements or just along with your products? How does that look? Do you guys offer anything like that? And how important is mentorship to you guys?
Well, mentorship is really important. It's almost like when you have somebody that's already gone down that road and they can teach you, hey, don't go left here, go right? If you go left, you're going to get hurt. That's what a mentor does, is it kind of speeds up the process for you instead of it being, you know, long term. It's kind of like, hey, this mentor's already gone through, you know, these leaps and battles and gone through the battlefield, right? So mentorship is extremely important. A lot of what we do is we have a lot of automated tools, because I feel like people these days, unfortunately, we've gone through a lot recently and things have really kind of shifted gears. I mean, you used to be able to, you know, the way that we used to build back in the day was belly to belly. Like, you go meet somebody for coffee, or you go meet them for, you know, a presentation at like an event or whatever it may be. And then unfortunately, that got flipped upside down, you know, and we had to learn to adapt, which is how, you know, now we do Zoom or we do, you know, meetings. And so I do feel like people nowadays, they need easy for duplication. And so a lot of the stuff that we do, we put a lot of things on automation and using tools for people so that they don't have to be an expert, you know what I mean? They can actually send a lot of the information out to people, and it's already built out so that they can learn as they, you know, they can earn as they learn throughout the process. It's not too much for people, because I feel like, especially in business and maybe somebody who has never taken a supplement before, there's a lot that you need to learn. And so we kind of have bite-sized trainings that give people what they need in order to get to the next level of understanding really what we're doing. And not overstimulating people, because we want everybody to understand that once you start taking a supplement, you start feeling the results, you know, it kind of just takes off like wildfire. I mean, it's once you start taking care of the body, or you're working out for the first time, and you guys have seen, I mean, it's a drastic change for people. So mentorship is extremely important. You know, not from just the business standpoint and entrepreneurship, but even understanding and teaching people about good supplementation is really important for all of us, especially here.
I totally agree. Now, when it comes to, you know, as we know, high blood pressure, diabetes is massive. You know, so many people are suffering from that. Do you guys offer products to assist with the high blood pressure, with diabetes, and what does that look like compared to what you may go to the doctor and they may write that prescription for?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go down too far into this whole of, you know, a synthetic compared to, you know, a natural source, but, you know, any kind of a synthetic is always going to have, unfortunately, side effects, right? And then you take something for that side effect, and then another thing for the side effect. So personally, I believe there's a time and a place, you know, for medication, but if you can go the nutraceutical route and give your body really what it's lacking, the human body is absolutely phenomenal in the way that, you know, if it was put into a perfect environment, it would actually repair itself. And people don't understand that about, you know, our cells and everything. But once you start giving the body what it's lacking, which sometimes is just super easy stuff, you know, put good into the body, and all of a sudden your body starts working properly, and people are like, how in the heck is this doing what it's doing? Well, you're finally providing the body with what it needs to get into that environment where it can actually act the way that it is built to do. So we do have products. I mean, even just the one that we just launched, Pure Harmony, it's got clinical studies for, you know, regulating blood sugar levels, cholesterol, liver cleansing, blood pressure. I mean, it's really one supplement that has so many effects. That's why we called it Pure Harmony, because it's harmonizing the body in all the different areas and functionality. It's a stellar product. But Amanda, you want to add anything?
Oh my gosh. Did you talk about how a lot of companies, they will, when they do their clinical studies, they'll have these crazy high levels and then they'll drop them down when they release the product?
Yeah, that happens. What? Yeah.
And then
That's crazy.
people think that there's something wrong with them, or, oh, I don't just get results. Very common.
Yeah, or they'll take something like, oh, hey, this is backed by this clinical study. But if you actually dive into the clinical study and you start seeing like the amount of that ingredient for that clinical study was like, let's just say it's 400 milligrams. And then you look at the back of the bottle and it's like 15 and you're like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody puts, you know, 2 and 2 together to understand to look for things like that. So there's a lot of miscommunication, I would say, out there, unfortunately. So yeah, it's kind of wild. It's like the wild, wild west, I would say.
You want to have so much trust in the fact that you pull something off the shelf, or maybe you order it online and you think that what you see is what you're going to get. And I mean, I'm just so honored to be having this conversation, because we know ourselves now and can educate so many more people that it just may not be the case. And so it definitely sounds like there is so much, of course, integrity, but also a lot of science and a lot of interest in how to really make your product better. And so what I'm interested in is how this quantum mechanics, this quantum physics has come into some of your products. So talk to us about how really sciencey you get, and tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I've always kind of been into, you know, grounding. Like if you go outside and you know, put your feet on the earth and ground, and it's kind of like it's a little bit, some people say woo-woo, right? But there's so much science and research behind it that if you actually dive in and start understanding about, well, what exactly is, you know, 528 frequency, for instance, with our qubits, what does that mean? And it's, so many people, I think right now, are starting to kind of shift gears and understanding, like, why do I feel so good when I'm at the ocean? Or why do I feel so good when I'm outside and I'm getting, you know, natural vitamin D? That people need to get outside in the nature. They need to take their shoes off, go outside and ground. And all of a sudden you start feeling different and you're like, maybe there's something to this. So yeah, you know, we're definitely doing things, I think, a little bit more of the way of the future. And I do believe that we're going to see a huge shift that's going to start happening. Like if you go to Asia, for instance, or different countries, they're already in tune with it, right? It's nothing out of the norm for them. But you come to the United States and we're kind of just getting on that bandwagon. So I do feel like we're at the forefront and beginning stages of a company that's bringing stuff to light for people. And it's wild, because I don't even think maybe, and you can talk about this, Amanda, but because she's been in this frequency and, you know, that area for way longer than I have. But I mean, it's changed a lot, I would say, in even just the last, 1 year, 2 years, that people are starting to really kind of catch on, right?
Yeah, people will spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on products to try to do what we have at Integrous with the qubits. Am I allowed to talk about the app?
you can talk about the app, you can talk about the qubits, because you've had some wild stories.
Some crazy stories, because that's coming up to launch. That's why I asked. But something that a lot of people, they don't know is your heart actually creates a vortex. If you see some people, and it depends on who you talk to, that if you've ever stood next to someone and you look at them and you're like, I don't like you, and you kind of scoot away and you're like, I have no idea why, but there's something wrong with them. Or you're next to someone and you're like, oh, I feel so much calmer. I feel like you're really cool. You're really easy to talk to, and you don't know why. That's because your heart, and the military actually can study this now, believe it or not. They actually don't even need to be anywhere near you. With a radar, they can check. You basically put out an EMF field of your own with your heart's its own vortex, and they can actually check all of your vitals without even touching you. They've been using that for years. Yeah.
That's wow.
I know.
Wow.
Considering putting up, I saw the patents for this probably like 8 years ago. Metal detectors, they look just like that, but basically you would walk through the hospital doors and they would instantly know your pulse, your blood pressure, all of those basic vitals, just because of what your heart puts off. So that is how powerful that is. And a lot of people don't know that depending on the frequency. So if you think of microwaves, right? Everything, if you can see light, it's at a certain frequency, it's at a certain wave. We all learned this when we were in school. But everything has its own frequency. And so I've actually been playing around a lot with our quantum app. That's very, very, very simple. And I've gotten before, I think I spent close to $2,000 on one for practitioners, but it was insanely complicated. And it kind of freaked me out because depending on what you were looking at, it would say, oh, your spleen is low. Oh, your heart is off the charts right now. Oh, this, oh, that. And the average person that's not a practitioner is going to look at that and go, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die.
Right.
You're not. It's just picking up all these super tiny little things. And to have something that our app is way more affordable, I want to say, way more simple. It only has a couple of frequencies. And it's kind of become, I think I drink maybe twice a year now. I really don't drink at all anymore. But it's become my favorite bar trick, believe it or not, because you can actually taste it. A lot of people, it's hard to convince them that this is going to, you don't have to take your shoes off to ground. I mean, still do that. It's really good for you, but there's a grounding frequency. So you can turn it on. There's one that helps to rebalance. Like I had a ton of anxiety the other day and I turned it on and within 10 seconds, it was just way more chill. And the average person is not going to understand that. So, I was talking to some girls in a bar once. It was actually at our event in Texas with Heather. And I was like, what are you drinking? Are there any bubbles in it? Because you don't want to do it with bubbles. It'll ground the bubbles. If you have champagne, don't do this. It'll take it flat. But you actually hold it and it uses light and sound with frequencies to change the molecular structure of that drink. It tastes better. I use it with my food. I use it with my drink. It's very simple. It takes a couple of seconds. Incredible. Long story short, every single girl, like one of my friends, she got, what did she get? I think she got a Moscow Mule and they butchered it. They put way too much alcohol. She was like, I can't even smell this. And I was like, let me smell it. It was way too strong. I held the app underneath it. You could see the light. It was like something in a rave. It was putting all the lights out and everything. It was kind of cool. And she was like, oh, that's fun. Anyways, after that, I let her smell it. And she was like, I don't smell it. And I was like, taste it. And she tasted it. And she was like, what did you do to that? And I was like, I changed the frequency of it. And she just stared at me like I was crazy. Like I did something, like I put something in there. And she watched me. And a guy from across the bar came over. I didn't say a word to him and he was like, so what are you doing? What is that? He was like, you held your cell phone up to this drink and these crazy lights was going through and you guys are really excited right now. He was like, what are you doing? And I told him and I was like, give me your drink. And did the same thing and he was like, that's really good. He's like, how do I get that? And I was like, I'm so sorry, I need your number, it's not out yet. But it's incredibly simple, and it just helps to raise the frequency of whatever you put it on, which alcohol is statistically very low. You see people and the drama starts to happen and they start to make unwise choices. They start to not feel good. It raises the frequency, and I'm not advocating for doing this and drinking a ton at all. But if you're going to, It was actually the first time ever. I went to the California Mid-State Fair. First time ever in my entire life, I did not have one beer spilled on me. And there was no drama near me. And it was just honestly the best experience I've had. And it could totally be a coincidence, but I don't think so, because I had the app on almost the whole time.
That is incredible. So the Qubits products, are you saying that that can be added to other supplements in the line and it raises the frequency? Or is that pretty much how it works?
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And you can keep reusing it. So just put it on the inside, like, the top of the cap, take it off, put the Qubit on the inside underneath. And then just when you get your new bottle, just keep that same cap and then just put it on your new bottle. So you don't need to keep transferring pills, and you can just keep the same one. It'll last for up to a year. And then when we launch our app, you can actually use the app to recharge the Qubit, and it'll last for, I believe Mark said, for about a decade. So,
Heather, can you tell me about who is this product for? Is it safe for kids? If someone who's looking for a completely vegan option, can you give us some insights about that?
No, absolutely. We get that question quite often. So yes, no animal byproducts, so you guys are good to go. Also non-GMO, completely, all of our certifications are on the website. With regards to kids, I kind of always err in the direction of having them talk to, have the parent talk to the pediatrician before getting on any kind of supplementation. You just always want to make sure. I mean, sometimes kids are on medication, and a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of medications even counteract with natural ingredients. So one of the examples that I give often is, stevia interacts with certain seizure medications. And so if you start taking stevia and a seizure medication that counters, that it's not even working, it's null and void. And all of a sudden they start having seizures again, not understanding that something so simple as stevia is having that effect, on that kid. So always make sure that you give the label of the product, whether it be maybe a digestive enzyme. We have a lot of kids that take our enzymes with the pro and prebiotic because a lot of kids nowadays are having massive gut issues. But always talk to your doctor. Same thing with, nursing or pregnant. I always say, make sure you talk to your gynecologist or your doctor before starting anything, just because, like I said, sometimes a natural ingredient counteracts with something somebody's taking and they wouldn't even know it unless they talk to their doctor or pediatrician.
Thank you guys so much. This has been very, very informative. I'm getting a little, stoked and, excited about everything. Obviously the company name, just Integrous, and just holding that, space of integrity is so important, especially, there's so much going on with, land and things of that nature as far as diluting, the potency, and everyone's like, oh, just have food. Well, we all need a little help, I'm obviously, we all want to eat all the right foods and everything, but I love that you guys are bringing integrity to the table. How can people get in touch with you? Like, how can they find out more about, some of the products that we discussed today, and how can they get in touch?
So you can either go to the person that, introduced you to Integrous Wellness, but you can also go to integrouswellness.com. We have anything and everything you can think of on that website, from the COAs to, in-depth information. There's product videos and everything explaining exactly what each one of those products are.
That is fantastic. Are you guys are on Instagram and Facebook also?
Yes, we are. Integrous Wellness, super simple.
We like simple. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Tonight has been great. Really appreciate you guys, setting the time aside. And I hope everyone has a great evening.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, ladies. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys.
Bye.